my little sales pitch on the book because I think it's very helpful. It helps you become a good steward to your environment and to the chickens. At least 20 money-saving tips. I already showed you some ways to save some money. Helpful diagrams. Let's talk about that. If you know how to clip a wing. If you don't, I've got a great diagram. Also, clip one wing on a chicken. Don't clip both. I can't tell you how many times I've seen both chicken wings clipped. What you want to do is you clip one side because when they go to fly, it throws them off balance. Okay? Chicken DIY, best nocturnal predator deterrent ever, I guarantee you, okay? And laugh out loud funny stories. If you don't learn something new or laugh out loud, I'll buy it back from you. Right, Jen? Right, okay. All right, so we have that. A little pre-Thanksgiving humor. Chickens, they get such a bad rap sometimes. Okay, so book is right there. I also have some wonderful information on biosecurity. That's a big name for avian influenza preparedness. This past spring, 42 million chickens were what they called depopulated, okay, across the country because of avian influenza. We haven't had an issue with it until this year. And the way it's spread is through wild waterfowl. And they fly the different byways. We have a Pacific flyway where the chicken or the waterfowl come and go. And waterfowl are vectors. They hold the disease, they don't get sick from it. And so if you're like I am, I live in a place that has ponds and walking paths. If you're walking along there or running along there in shoes that you would go out to the coop in, you got to stop that because you don't want the spread of avian influenza. And it's carried in their secretions, in their droppings, the wild bird's droppings, anything that comes out of their mouth or nose, okay? So be smart about avian influenza. I was going to bring my ladybugs in here. I have several pair that I got from D&B way back. And have one pair of shoes that you use for your coop that goes to the coop and back out and no place else, okay? I've got great information on avian influenza up here, so if you want to grab that before you leave as well. So books are right there, avian influenza there, and we have all sorts of water heaters too here. Back behind you, dog and water heaters, and then poultry water heaters as well. So questions, let's talk. Yes?
I'm so confused. I want to create a dust bath in a tub. So I know about directions on that, but what is the other element? Sand?
You can use sand in it. Okay, she wants to create a dust bath in a tub, and you can use sand, you can use dry, airy dirt, peat moss. I like dirt. Yeah, peat moss works. So you have to make sure it's broken down. All right, there you go. I'm handing stuff out. Yes, question.
I have two sets of birds, Rhode Island Reds and Americanas. Okay? They were bought at different times within a couple months of each other, so they're not really getting along. I mean, the Rhode Island Reds kind of bully the Americanas. So at night, the Americanas actually go in the coop. The Rhode Island Reds sit on a perch just outside the coop. Mm-hmm. How do I get them in together?
Okay, so Lucy says she has two different groups of chickens, Alpha Company and Bravo Company, it sounds like, and they're not getting along. The Rhode Island Reds and the Americanas. And so the Americanas are in the coop at night, and the Rhode Island Reds are scared. They're not going in there to be pecked on, right? You got to grab them. You got to put them in the coop. Okay. Yep. That's exactly it. The girls are perching outside, roosting outside, and you got to have them inside so they're protected, so that they're not going to get eaten by a raccoon or, that sort of thing.
All right, gotcha.
Yes?
So, do you need to supplement grit with free range?
No, I don't. That's a great question. If your bird's free range, do you want to give them a supplement of grit? No, because they'll get that. And what grit does, you guys, is that it goes in to their crop, and they have enzymes that work in that crop with the grit, and that actually is the part that chews up the food and helps digest the food. Okay? Yes. Yeah.
My birds sometimes start molting early, and so what level of feed, what percentage of feed should I be feeding in what will be like sometimes in August they'll start to molt. So you talk, say, you don't feed the high protein food because of the heat that it's going to produce, but they're molting.
No, the high protein food won't produce heat. So she asked about, well, what if my birds molt in August? Do I put them on the 20%? Yeah. And there's a good feather fixer bird feed here as well. So yeah, the added protein, added fat is what you want in their diet when they're trying to grow new feathers. And so it shouldn't hurt them at all. Now, even though it's hot, yeah, that's fine. Don't do corn. Corn is the thing that elevates their body temperature. I am handing out Vetricin, okay? It's a wonderful thing. I use it on my dogs. I use it on my birds. And this is compliments of D&B. Yes?
Along the similar lines of the feed question, I noticed they sell the 20% layer pellets here. In the summertime, is it harmful to feed them the 20%? I have a small flock, so I'm not really concerned about cost or, so does it hurt them to feed them 20% all the time, or should you just feed them 16 and 20?
Great question. Our sweet girl in a great t-shirt asked if you could just feed them 20% all the time. Absolutely. My mentor does that because he wants his birds with really pretty feathers. And so he has them on 20% all the time. No, it doesn't hurt at all. Yes, sir.
You define grit, and where do you get straw around this area?
Right here?
Straw right here. Yeah, all you have to do is ask. These guys are awesome. And grit, okay, grit is little rock and sand that they need to aid in their digestion. And they usually can get it, hold tight, they can get it, here. Ooh, that was my fault. Yeah, thank goodness they're plastic, right? They usually can get it around the yard, pick it up when they are foraging. But if they don't have grit or extra calcium, you got to provide it for them, right? Right. Yes, in the back.
Worms in chicken. What is a good defense for the chicken?
Good question. Okay, so the question was worms in chickens. And there was a question on Boise Tour de Coupe, Boise Eagle Tour de Coupe. Did you post that question? No. If you also want to go on Facebook and join that group, that's a really good group to be in. Boise Eagle Tour de Coupe. I've never personally experienced that, and it's really rare, is what I understand, in Idaho. If you have a clean environment and feeding them quality manufactured food, it shouldn't happen. But I'm sure the folks here can point you in the right direction. I'll save this for you up here.
I had heard that if you take a little bit of the diastomate earth and put it into the chicken feed, that will help take the parasites out of the intestine.
Okay, we have a chicken keeper who says that you can use diatomaceous earth in the chicken feed, and that should take care of it. I don't have, like I said, I don't have personal experience with it, but yeah, you can give it a try. Food grade diatomaceous earth. Yes?
My husband made a water that hangs.
The nipples, the chicken nipples, yes.
Insulated, hang around there, and then drop in water under. Is that okay?
That's fantastic. I love it. And the girls drink okay out of the chicken nipples? Do you know, Jen, okay, D&B has chicken nipples, and what you can do is you can take this wonderful bucket like this, you drill holes in the bottom and you put the chicken nipples down here and you elevate this, and then the girls drink, you put the cover on it and the water stays clean, and you can insulate this, and the girls just drink under here. The chicken nipples, think hamster, like a hamster waterer. That's what it is. Oh, look, they already have, look at that. These guys have you covered. That's the beautiful thing. And then you could just insulate this and hang it and elevate it, right?
And there's the one to make.
Yeah, and here's the one you can make with the D&B bucket. I don't know about the freezing. Have you had any experience with that yet?
On a roll, the insulation roll is silver stuff.
Yes.
He put that around it. And he has one of those drop-in warmers.
Have you, but do you know what the nipples themselves freeze?
No, we haven't had any trouble. I go in there and they don't freeze.
Did you go through last winter with them? Okay. She didn't have any trouble with it. Yeah. Yes, in the very back.
If you're using the bucket she just had the nipples on the sides, and so if it's covered and insulated and sitting on your popcorn can with the heater, the nipples shouldn't freeze.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it should be fine.